Hi, I'm Mary Grace here from IU to share my story from my great experience interning at Finance Ireland, plus some pictures and lessons from along the way. Initially, I had no idea what to expect from my summer at Finance Ireland. The phrase is so common that most Google results were actually about different companies. I did know it was on Pembroke Road, which is my actual home street. That's a coincidence my Irish grandma and I agreed was a good omen. Now that my internship has ended, I'm glad to say that positive sign turned out to be true. On my first day, I took such an early bus that I landed over an hour early, so I grabbed a cup of tea and collected my thoughts, a practice I'll keep in mind for the future. When I arrived at Finance Ireland, I was warmly greeted by my group finance team, as well as the commercial mortgages team, whose floor I actually worked on due to space issues. My manager Laura soon gave me my first assignment, relabeling thousands of assets in an Excel file to help them eventually identify their expenditures by category. I didn't mind that the assignment wasn't exactly mentally stimulating. First, it's something I'd have given an intern as well. And second, since Laura explained the task's purpose, my work still felt meaningful. I quickly felt at ease and enjoyed spending my day with my commercial mortgage coworkers. Laughing about jokes or frustrating situations with customers alongside them made our days fun. However, I was conflicted over how often to visit my group finance office, whose main floor location meant its door was usually shut. I struggled to balance demonstrating my interest with not interrupting their hushed work when my key'd open the door with a beep. I've now recognized that I tend to overworry about imposing on people who are actually glad to help me. Instead of worrying, I should have just asked for advice, a lesson I'll remember down the road. Before weeks 3 and 4 began, I wrote my week's goals on a note in my dorm. I started working on these by initiating conversations beyond just surface level, "How was your weekend?" question, and was surprised how soon my coworkers and I were sharing stories about siblings or joking about bachelor trips to Las Vegas. Letting my guard down also let my coworkers be more at ease. I imagine it's more fun knowing your intern isn't someone you have to walk on pins and needles around. They appreciated knowing that I was also interested in them as real people, not just professionals, to jot down a nice reference letter at the end of the period. My commercial mortgage relationships were great, but I knew my group finance ones could improve past their current polite conversation stage relationships. And so, I made that my second half goal. Luckily, week 4 brought along an unexpected move downstairs into the group finance office. Encouraged by my previous week's experience, I jumped into my team's conversations. We were soon laughing over each other's different accent imitations, Dublin versus Clare for them, Boston versus Alabama for me. I learned that just because my group finance's tasks called for quiet conditions didn't mean that they were any less welcoming or less interested in knowing me. My colleague Clodagh also gave me a new assignment, creating Excel sheets to reflect their audit notes. She kept apologizing because she felt the work was monotonous, but I reassured her not to feel bad. This internship has taught me the importance of a positive perspective. Did the numbers sometimes make my eyes glaze over? Admittedly, yes. But was I surrounded by supportive colleagues, a beautiful office, and a fun new culture? Certainly yes, and that far outweighed anything else. I only felt a touch frustrated that my attempts to meet for lunch, coffee, anything, to get some feedback weren't progressing. My colleagues were stressed while prepping for a major board meeting, even eating lunch at their desks. They'd postponed my first feedback request, and I didn't want to lengthen their to-do list. But as week 4 approached week 5, I knew I had to speak up. When I called my mom, I realized I'd built up some frustration from feeling a little bit forgotten considering the effort I'd invested. My mom's support taught me the importance of sharing my thoughts with somebody outside of work, a lesson that I'll remember when I'm feeling frustrated in the future. After successfully repeating my request on Monday, my team and I enjoyed a fun lunch out the next day. I received much valued feedback, and we also discussed Finance Ireland's future direction. Sometimes a friendly reminder is all that's needed to accomplish your goals. Week 5 also brought my internship's most interesting tasks. I reviewed a legal memo that incorporated lessons from an international business law class that I loved from my previous semester. I also cooperated with our CFO Lawrence, EY, and Deloitte managers to edit Finance Ireland's new forecasting model. I truly appreciated this recognition that my colleagues valued my insight and work contribution after all the time that I'd put in the past several weeks. As my internship concluded, I reflected on some lessons I want to carry into my future experiences. One, the importance of small, kind gestures. From homegrown roses to ice cream snacks, the thoughtful gestures of my colleagues never failed to brighten my day. It's amazing how even a simple gesture makes someone feel valued and cared for. Two, stop and smell the roses. In the US, people work straight through the day and often leave feeling totally drained. Here, I've seen how refreshing and re-energizing a true lunch break or stroll in the park can be. 3. Find time for daily reflection. In my Jesuit high school, we called this the examine, asking yourself what went well, what could be improved, and what experiences you were grateful for from the day. Doing this while walking back to my bus stop was a nice way to end the workday and think about what I wanted to do the following one. 4. Make friends with people outside your division. Whether it's the receptionist, guy from another office, etc., everybody has a story to share and loves it when you hear theirs. 5. The relationships my team and I built showed me that the people you spend your time with, not the day-to-day tasks, determine your happiness in the workplace. Finance Ireland has inspired me to find a job where colleagues form a second family, not just a happenstance bunch of cubicles. When recruiting for next summer's internship this autumn, that notion, not which company has the most resources, most cachet, or the best salaries, will be at the forefront of my decision process. Interning at Finance Ireland was truly a fantastic experience, encouraging me to grow and challenge myself both professionally and personally. I'm incredibly grateful for the relationships built, skills learned, and culture gained while there. Together, the lessons and friendships from Finance Ireland make the best sort of souvenir I could possibly take home.